Good afternoon to all the participants in my online Bible session. Today we are on session 6. So our topic for today is being a godly example. Why is godliness is so important in leadership? Being a godly example. The Bible is replete with people who were identified, chosen, and trained as leaders. God chose the self-proclaimed four communicator Moises to lead his people. As the next leader of the Israelites, Joshua developed his leadership skills under Moises. Nehemiah identified leaders to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. Jesus chose the least likely group of people to learn from him and became the foundational leaders of his church. God identified an enemy of the church, Saul of Tarsus, as a leader to proclaim the gospel to the Gentiles. Several conclusions we can reach by studying leadership in the Bible and reviewing research on leadership. Number one, an effective leader or mentor will make an impact on the emerging leaders. The leaders ought to become example of godliness. So in engage in this part, do not let anyone look down on you. That's what Paul calls Timothy to do as a young leader. Most likely Timothy was around 30 to 35 years old. In the context, a great respect was given to age of wisdom, and therefore a youth was anybody from birth to 40 years old. No doubt, some of the people in the Ephesian church struggled with Timothy's young age. Maybe they thought, what can he teach me? He is so young. However, Timothy was called to calm their fears by being a godly example. So in the quick here, this part, in what areas was Timothy called to demonstrate godliness, and how can good leaders be example in these areas? Let no one look down on you because you are young, but set an example for the believers in your speech, conduct, love, faithfulness, and purity. Number one question is, how do you model godliness in your speech? Young leaders are often prone to excessive talking instead of listening, and it often leads to sin. You must be a good listener, listening to God, listening to what people say and what they are not saying. Only after deeply listening should you speak, and when you do, it should be in loving mouth. Your mouth, your mouth, your matter, your manner of speaking is just as important as our words. Number two question: how do you model godliness in your conduct? Conduct refers to your behavior and lifestyle. How do you handle your money, your relationship, your personal appearance, your work or your entertainment, and anything else? You must seek to glorify God. Question number three: how do you model godliness in your love? Good leader model biblical love. This love is not simply comprised of emotions. as is often considered by the word. It includes self-sacrificing service, regardless of how one feels. Christ loved us by giving his life for us. Thus, we must model this love to others. Sacrifice their time, resources, and even goals to love God and people. As others watch, they're inspired to love more deeply as well. Number four question: how do you model godliness in your faith? Faith applies to faithfulness. Your yes must mean yes, and your no must mean no. If you say you are going to do something, you must follow through your faith and daily lives. Question number five: how do you model godliness in your purity? Ephesus was the location of the Temple of Diana. She had many great people. A great temple prostitute and immoral sex was one of the ways we will please her soul prosperity. Timothy needed to model purity both in his conduct with young women and his thought of life with him. You need to battle to keep your mind and your hearts pure by avoiding ungodly practices and relationships. So lastly, in our exchange, if you, if you had to pick one, which area of godliness do you struggle with most and how are you going to strive in that area? Good leaders model godliness in every area of life, provoking others to godliness. So I hope you listen carefully or you learn a lot from this session number 6, and all the questions here that I discussed also I answered. It will be included to our evaluation sheet. So I hope that you listen carefully and you learn a lot from the session number 6. And thank you for supporting my online Bible session. I hope you will there until the session number 10 as the end of my online Bible session, because this online Bible session are up to 10 session only because the limited limited time of our in-home community immersion. So this copy of booklet you will see it if you comment your Gmail account here in my YouTube channel. I will reply all your comments and I will send it this copy and also the evaluation sheet to your account. Just don't forget to comment, and it serves as your participation and attendance today. So thank you and stay happy and blessed.